Hey, I'm Leslie Turner. I'm a mom, a somatic practitioner, and an intuitive coach. This is the Intuitive Drop, short conversations about emotional truth, the nervous system, and living from your intuition in real life without losing your mind along the way. Let's drop in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Intuitive Drop. I have a guest today. Her name is Elaine Timms. She's one of my favorite people. She is a Pinterest strategist who has spent over a decade helping business owners get their content working for them long after they've hit publish. I know Pinterest is the long game, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
She serves established entrepreneurs, so we're talking bloggers, podcasters, content creators, who are done with the hamster wheel and constant creation, because that leads to burnout. She's also a former blog owner who sold her site for 5 figures. Proud moment. And she's a fiction writer in the making, which I believe I had a slight hand in, so I'm going to talk about that too. And she's someone who has done some of the deepest pattern work you can do. And she's here today to talk about all of it, but to talk about what happens when you finally stop outsmarting yourself. So, Elaine, thank you so much for being here.
Leslie, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're just laughing pre-episode before I hit record because I was like, we kind of look like sisters. I just got bangs and now I'm just emulating Elaine. And we're both born in the same year, so we could be maybe twins.
Absolutely. Irish twins. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's get into it, Elaine. I want to talk about one thing that you had said in your intake form. You've built a whole business philosophy around energy over strategy.
Right.
What does that actually mean on like a typical day where you have to make a real decision?
Well, that actually just means being okay with how does it feel before it's like the strategy that I absolutely have to do. And the energy over strategy, I definitely took that from you because it was finally, the definition that it was like, right, that's what I've been doing the whole time. So I don't fall prey to, I should be doing this, big time growth, scaling at all costs. And what that's led to is like really like slow growth, which has been great for my nervous system and something that I embrace because energy over strategy just allows me to be human first, which is important.
Okay, what does that mean? Human first.
So human first, in other words, I grapple with building a business in the first place. I love it for so many other reasons, but on the flip side, I am not actually a huge like capitalist loving person where everybody is a lead. They're on my spreadsheet. I'm building a relationship with them just strictly because I want them to become a client. Any of those things gives me the ick. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, to be honest. So human first means treating people as humans. Yeah.
It does lead to a bit slower growth because you were creating relationships from scratch. And then eventually, if they lead to something great, if not, you've just made a friendship and connections and honoring that.
And that's how I felt. Like, I'm not a big launch person. Like, I don't want to have like these grand launches that, like somebody's, and it's so interesting because I actually like help people with their funnels and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, I don't want to just put you in a funnel and that's where you are. And then if you don't convert, I don't want to have anything to do with you. That just gives me the ick. And I think a lot of us need to return to that human connection.
Agreed.
So I think it's going to happen now with the rise of AI, but we'll see as we keep moving forward.
I hope so. Now, Pinterest, how did you get into Pinterest specifically?
So yeah, specifically, so I was always a user back in the day, but I definitely was just a scroller. Didn't use it for anything else. Then with the blog, that was a way to get my writing online, give myself a creative outlet when I became a mom. And then I learned very quickly that if you build it, they do not come. So you can write until your heart's content, but nobody's going to read it. So I needed some way to build traffic. And of course, Pinterest, circa 2016 was a great way of building traffic. It still is, changed a lot, but I learned everything I possibly could about Pinterest, had all sorts of bloggers in my community that were having great success, learned all the things, built its traffic organically, about 100,000 sessions per month. And then I had people like asking me how I was doing it, like in my circles. So then I'd be like, hey, like, I'll just help you with that. Oh, hey, I'll just help you with that because I'm a natural like helper giver. And so that's how Elaine Tim's Creative was born. So I started a second business on the side helping people. And then I ended up selling the blog because it became too much. Like I couldn't manage
Mm.
both, and the blog started to get a little bit neglected, and I didn't want to let it just go by the wayside. So I investigated selling it and sold it for 5 figures. So that's how
Wow.
Pinterest became like a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And now I've been doing that for the last almost 8 years for other people.
It's such a niche, and I love that you
Yes.
put your heart and soul into it, and you're also seeing
Right.
how, like, the with the work we've done. So I got
Right.
Elaine's permission to say we have worked together kind of extensively in a 4-month container that took her through a lot
Mhm.
of unlearning, shall we say? And then
Right.
she's also in
Yes.
my membership right now with the Intuitive Circle. So we're constantly looking at what is running life, what could be sabotaging us, what
Right.
could be holding us back, but also on an emotional pattern level, what needs to go. And that's one of the things I love about Elaine is she's so open to be like, yep, this isn't me anymore. I need to
Yeah.
let this go. I need to work
Need
through
to
this.
pivot.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
pivot. So you've
Right.
built an incredible business around Pinterest, but
Mhm.
something has shifted in the last, I don't know,
Right.
6 months. What is your intuition guiding you to right now?
Um, Intuition is guiding me, like, the writing itch is definitely back, like, tenfold, and so for a little while there, I was like, "Oh my gosh, does that mean I'm, like, giving up on Pinterest and just gonna, like, shift completely into something else?" But actually, it's learning to embrace both of them, my
Right.
writing side and my, like, I'll call it, like, my data side, my logical side, and letting the 2 coexist in ways that they've never before, and so actually just recently I've decided that I'm going to incorporate more writing and more of like a newsroom style approach to my own marketing and kind of join the two together. So basically, this in a nutshell is just allowing my intuition to lead me and show me what feels right while also allowing myself to just be and following what my heart wants to do too. I've never really let both things exist. It's either I'm a creative writer and that is completely separate, or I'm like in my Pinterest business and I have to be very logical and data driven and everything else. But now I'm going to let them crash. And
Ooh,
intuition's
cool.
telling me this is the way to go. So this is going to lead to something that I don't even know what that is yet. And so I'm pretty excited about it.
It's like talking about the feminine and masculine. You can't be all
Right.
one or the other. There has to be a blending and a harmony of both. So very cool.
Exactly.
Now, have you always been intuitive?
I have, but didn't realize it or
Um,
just didn't name it like that. I have this inner knowing. I can walk into rooms. I'll know, that could be a bit of like, other patterns playing as well. But, working with you, leaning into it, researching on my own, and then just actually stopping to listen to myself, I've realized, yes, definitely intuitive. Yes. I don't know if I'm a psychic. I don't want to go that far, but
Right.
just have this knowing about things is all I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell anybody listening that when Elaine first came to me, it was there, but she wasn't trusting it. And so when we worked together and like my 4-month container I had was very hands-on, very high touch, if you want to say. And her growth was so fast that it
Yeah.
was unbelievable what happened in that 4-month span. And then I was just like, okay, run with it. Just
Right,
see what
absolutely.
happens if you pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
I think
Yeah.
I was just ready. Like, it was
Yeah.
just like it was like
Agreed.
one email that you sent, and it was just like, "Yep, that was it. Decision made." I was like, I couldn't keep living with ignoring what I couldn't vocalize what that was at the time, but I was like, "Okay, it's something shifting, all right." So, worked with you, and yeah, it's been great. Like, it's coming back to
Thank you.
myself and just
Yes.
staying strong in what I know about myself.
With the intuition work, we did significant work on patterns, like the emotional deep
Mm.
patterns from your family of origin. Now, without going anywhere you don't want to go, what's like one thing that kind of work changed in your business?
You know what? That work definitely showed me patterns from my family of origin that
Yeah.
I didn't need to take with me, that I was like just embracing as if, it's kind of like almost like you're living on autopilot. This is
Yeah.
just it, and this is just what happens, and just going along like that. But working with you allowed me to actually see those patterns for what they were, shift them, and then not care about them. Like they're
Uh-huh.
there, they're on a shelf, but they don't control me anymore, and I don't care about them as much anymore. Does that answer your question?
Uh, Absolutely. Was there one thing that you noticed was a significant change, like whether it was a visibility wound or a worthiness, anything like that?
I'd say there was so much, Leslie. Like you've hit on two of them. Definitely visibility, and not just from family of origin. There's many experiences in my
Right.
past that all led to that. I've got a heavy past. But yes, definitely visibility. It's something I can still need to work on. I think we all do if we're actually being honest with ourselves. But yeah, it's the not caring. It's the realizing that, like, I'm human. Everybody else is having a similar experience or their own experience that causes them to, doubt themselves. And it's the ability to now push through those things and just do what I want to do and not
Oof.
worry about it. It's
Yes.
not for everyone, and that's okay.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I think that's the essence I want all women entrepreneurs to get
Right.
to through, work with other people, work with your therapist, work with me, with somatics. But I think you're also embracing it so much that it's rippling out, and people are like, well, if Elaine can show up unapologetically, so can I.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
having a bigger effect than you realize because you went from kind of not showing up on
Mhm.
socials necessarily to being like, whatever, this is me.
Yeah, exactly. I've always had a like, not a quote unquote problem with it, but I've always felt socials is a little bit performative. Like it's
Sure.
very like this is the highlight reel. This is like look at everything's going great. And so I've just, I've shelved that. Like if that's what people want to do, that's okay. But that doesn't mean I have to do that. I can show up authentically in my way. And if it's not as often as some other people, okay, great. That it works for me. Wonderful. Let's
Yeah.
move on, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it.
I think
Yeah.
that goes back to the energy over strategy because you're
Right.
not following anybody else's rules. You're not following the algorithm. You're not following the somebody else made this, said you have to show up every day. And you're like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
No,
And
no, you don't
that's
have to.
huge.
Spoiler, you don't have to. Um,
Are you using that phrase in anywhere else in your life?
Energy over strategy. Yeah, it can show up now in like my personal life. I don't know how much like I'll share about that,
That's fine.
but yeah, like in small ways, right? Not that like my life is full of strategy and like I have this big plan to like accomplish and such
Yeah.
things, but more so like just paying attention to people's energy. Does it
Yes.
feel good? Does
Yes.
it feel, positive in the way that I need it to be before leaning into whatever it is? Yes.
Yeah. As opposed to just going, well, they're a nice person and there's no logical reason why I can't hang out with them. And you're like, wait a second.
Right. Exactly.
Something
Exactly.
feels off
Yeah.
here.
And yeah. Yeah. And it's trusting that. Right. And that goes back to that intuition. It's like mine has definitely grown very loud. So it lets me know exactly,
Yeah.
And if and I'm not perfect. So I screw it up sometimes too.
I mean, I do this work for a living. I'm still not perfect at it. What does your
So
intuition sound like? Is it in your head? Is it in your body? Where do you notice it?
it's a combination of both. So I do have like a voice, and it's not, maybe this is going to be interesting for some people, but it will tell me like no, or it's like it's been loud and it's been like, I can't believe you're going to do that again, or something like that. Like I've
Oh,
had that and I'm like, whoa. And then I've also had that coupled with like body reactions to let me
uh-huh.
know that, okay, yeah, that voice and the situation, whatever it is. Yeah, it's not right, or it does feel right, gets you excited. Yeah. So both.
But yeah, that's one thing I talk about
Hmm.
with clients a lot is like that full body yes or a full body no, and understanding the
Right.
difference between individually your yes and my yes are going to feel so different in the body, but
Right. Right.
so powerful when it starts to come up
Right.
regularly as this, oh, I noticed the difference on that. Holy, I'm excited. I'm
Right.
expanding. I love that you have cultivated that so deeply that you don't second guess it anymore.
Yeah, no. I I can't not be true to myself anymore.
I think that's incredible because that's what it's all about. This your body almost gets sick if you're not following your aligned path anymore. And I know
Right.
your path is you said in sessions with me that fiction writing, not just,
Right.
this newsroom thing, although that sounds incredibly cool, but fiction writing is kind of a
Right.
next step as well.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about that. What's going on there?
So I so I right now I'm still developing in my spare time. I have an entire world. I actually have multiple story angles created.
What?
I know, and it's really exciting to let myself, because I've always wanted to write a book and always wanted to be a fiction writer, but for a long time that was for everybody else. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like creative and everything, but I never gave myself permission to do it. So what that looks like now is just quiet mornings, developing, but I'm not pushing it. Like I'm not like giving myself a deadline where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, by the end of the year I should like have the first draft done," or anything like that. I'm just letting it come to me, which is super powerful. And I've been wowed myself. Like I don't want to say like I've impressed myself. It's more like a wow moment where I'm like, wow, that just like came so almost easily to me, and I was like incorporated in. It's still in the development phase and I'm still just allowing, but yes, that is it's on the docket and
It's
just
so
keep
exciting.
moving forward. I know it is so
Woo.
exciting. Ultimately, maybe I will be like a fiction writer and retire all of the other stuff, and that's just what I'm going to do.
When you first told me that, I honestly had this full body yes in my body, like, "Oh, Elaine,
Right.
this is gonna be big. This is gonna be big."
I
And
know.
I fully am backing you on this because there's something about it that's
Yes.
just it lights up. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but it lights up
Yes.
something in my chest and in my voice, and I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna be good at this." It's, very
Yeah, and
exciting.
and just for anybody, because I think people would appreciate this, a lot of the scenery, and locations have actually come through in my dreams, and
Oh.
I actually dream of, like, dreams can change, like, the topic or whatever's happening, but the location's the same. So I've got, like, 6 or 7 that I pulled from, and I just think it's wild that these settings are there, and I know, it's yeah. I know. I've just embraced it. It's part of the creative process. Yeah.
I think we don't want to gloss over the fact that if you can take imagery that's in your brain and transform it
Mhm.
into actual words on a
Hmm.
paper, that is talent, my dude. That is immense
Okay, that's
talent. So
awesome.
I
Right.
applaud you on that because I have attempted to do that in the past, not necessarily dreams,
Right.
but just ideas that come in. And
Like
it
ideas.
doesn't seem to translate as well. So good on you. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and but that's like the development process too, because then, another dream will occur and I'll be like, right, there's that detail, like over here. So,
Oh. And I think because you're not putting pressure on yourself with
mhm,
deadlines or, I want to get it out to an audience by this point or a publisher by this point, that it gives you the freedom to just see what comes
right,
in and to fill in those gaps or
right.
details. Ooh, incredible.
And if I'm being honest with you, like I do that in everything in life. Like there's no deadline, there's no like
Mm.
pressure to get everything done. That runs in my business, my personal life, and now the book. So
Is
we'll
that
see.
new? Did that come with the energy first, strategy second?
I think that energy first, strategy second was just finally putting a definition to it. But what I haven't realized is that in some small ways, I have always practiced it. It's just actually laser focused in and realize, right, damn, that is what like I've been doing like this whole time. And then now I'm actually just identifying it and being like, yep. And then when I heard you say that, I was like, that's it. That's what I do. It's energy. Like I don't care about, well, it's not that I don't care about strategy or any like Pinterest people listening, but yeah. Like,
Now I gotta give credit where credit is due. I heard that phrase from someone I've already had on the podcast, Chelsea Schreiner. So thank you, Chelsea.
Right.
With the lack of pressure or not having those deadlines, how do you keep yourself accountable to actually getting stuff done, number one? And what is it doing to your nervous system?
So holding myself accountable, it's just I've never really had like if I've got work to do or things to get done, I've always been very good at executing. So it just keeps me motivated. Another thing is that I do love to like live the way that I want and work on my terms. So right there is like a huge motivating factor because if I don't do the thing, it's not going to look like that anymore.
Yeah.
And what was the second part of your question?
What is that doing to your nervous system, not having that pressure?
Keeping it nice and calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
Did you
yes.
did you live from a place of nervous system dysregulation at any point that this feels more like you?
Yeah, it does. I did live for like kind of like in fight or flight a lot of the time without really realizing it, and then had stopped listening to my body and intuition completely.
Mm,
So this has been a journey, right? So there's elements that I was doing without realizing I was doing them
yeah.
because I spent so much time in fight or flight. I couldn't identify those things. And so working with you and then working on myself is just been like almost like full circle, but right, like you have been doing this, like your nervous system is more regulated via the work. Like I chose Pinterest and fell in love with Pinterest, which is probably one of the best platforms to use to regulate your nervous system without identifying that that's what I was doing or that's
Right.
why I was so attracted to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So for anybody who's listening who's like, I feel like I'm in fight or flight. I feel like
Right.
I'm following the rules that aren't what I created. What would be a piece of advice you would give to them?
I would spend time quiet mornings, journaling changed my life, checking in with your body, listening to it, writing that down, and then reading it back. There's one thing to journal, and then there's another thing to go back and read, see
Mm,
what progress you've been making. And actually, are you embracing it? Are you doing the changes? Or are you just allowing yourself to slip back in? So that's the piece that I feel like always gets missed. It's like journal, it'll feel great. But like, what do you do with all that you wrote? Feels good at the time, but then like 24 hours later, you might not be living whatever it is that you're wanting or your goal is. So reading it back and I kind of track my progress. Like, oh, okay, great. Like that doesn't upset me as much, or that doesn't, sway me as much anymore. Those kinds of things. That's what I would recommend doing.
okay. So journal. Everybody go out and buy a journal and get ready to dump, but also process and read it back
Yes.
and
Read
adjust
it back.
accordingly.
It's great to see how far you've come too, right?
Yes. Well, and then you can, because I think your brain likes to bypass the good and just focus on
Right.
sometimes the negative things that are happening. And it misses the fact that you were triggered by everything and now you're not. And that's
Exactly,
huge.
and then you miss your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Huge issue that I had to go through, right? Oh, wow. Like, oh, what? It's cool that I sold a blog? Oh, okay, cool. Like,
Right.
that was like news to me, Leslie.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
and now it's part of
And
my
that's a big
story.
pivot moment. Yeah. That
Right.
needs to be acknowledged, that now you get to say, this was a moment that changed me a little bit.
Absolutely.
Well, Elaine, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. I will link all of Elaine's contact
Thank you.
information. Follow her on social media. What are you working on right now that people can hop onto immediately?
So I have my ETC newsletter, which is just the ins and outs of Pinterest. So it's like what I'm seeing inside of Pinterest accounts. So if you're Pinterest curious, that is a great place to start. I also write a newsletter over on LinkedIn. It's called
Hmm.
Discoverable. So if you don't want to sign your email up to anything and you're on LinkedIn, go ahead and add me, follow me over there. I also have a Pinterest audit checklist that
Hmm.
people that have tried Pinterest and maybe failed at it or just don't even know if they're doing it correctly. It's free. It's just a Google sheet that has a checklist, checks everything off, scores you, tells you exactly where you're at, and gives you some tips for improvement. That will also add you to my general big newsletter as well. So you can grab that. I'll include a link for you, Leslie, so you can include it in the show notes.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you. Elaine, it was a pleasure.
No problem.
And if for anyone who's interested, please follow her. She's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you.
If something in this landed for you, I'd love to support you further, whether that's through private sessions, ongoing containers, or simply listening to another episode. Trust what feels right. All the ways to work with me are linked below. There's no pressure, just options. Thank you for being here and for doing the quiet, brave work of listening to yourself.